flag waves at the back of the pack, and they're about to get the light signal. Away they go. Peter Bove, the orange car number 2. 1 is Glover alongside. Glover's got the better start. Bob Simpson moving up strongly in 4. He's 4th currently, behind Chris Goff at 7. But it's Bove who leads the way. Kemp didn't make the greatest of starts, but as they come through, it's Peter Bove in the Derby. Then it's Glover in the race kits, Folk and Goff in the CGR, and then side by side going through. They're recovering Martin Kemp. The 17 is one of the classic Derbies with the modified March 733 Formula 3 nose cone. And
Steve Beaven, right?
Is it? And when they come side by side onto the, and that unfortunately there is our first casualty. It's number 5. That's Rod Hill in the Mystic, isn't it?
Yes, he didn't even get to Abbey, so the marshal's already trying to deal with that. Here they come. There's a great big pack of cars in this leading group. Peter Bove giving off the toe to the rest. Chris Goff's come to 2nd from the 4th on the grid. F42 though diving up the inside. Andrew Kemp to get the lead from 4th position. That was an amazing move.
And he was about 5th away from the start, wasn't he? Didn't make a good start at all.
So it's Kemp that leads. There's Bove. Here comes up the inside Chris Goff. Round the outside comes Mark Glover. So Goff now alongside Bove. Can't make it though. And Andrew Kemp, this lemon getaway. Here comes Mark Glover up the inside of the pair of them. He's alongside Goff, but he's going to have to back out of it. So we may not have the biggest grid that 750 Formula's ever seen, but the whole pack are still in one short and in one long line, Marcus.
Yeah, fantastic, isn't it? And they've worked their way through Abbey, and Glover's car looks very quick through there in 4th place.
And problems here for 73.
It's only Brazier, isn't it?
DFS. Here comes Goff up the inside, trying to keep Glover at bay. There's Bob Simpson ahead of Steve Boover, 5th and 6th positions, just ahead of Ian Barley and Richard Jenkins. So into the link they come. There's Goff with Glover right underneath him. Here are the leaders though, Kemp and Bove. So can Peter Bove re-challenge down at Stowe, where he lost the lead on the previous lap? Perhaps a bit of a surprise seeing Andrew Kemp dive up the inside of him. And he pops out in the Derby behind Bob Simpson. He's going past Mark Glover. So Simpson passed, or tries to pass, the reigning champion. Can't quite make it though.
Yeah, Glover carried a lot more speed into the apex of the corner from that outside lane, didn't he?
He certainly did. A bit more air on that car. Here comes Bove down the inside to grab the lead. He runs out wide though, so Andrew Kemp straight back underneath him. Most recently, Peter Bove won the championship back in 2008. Behind Chris Goff and Mark Glover looking up the inside of him. So we'll see if that will work there side by side. We saw down the hanger straight, Glover's car not the best top speed, and that means Goff can go back through as they turn it into Abbey. Wonder if Glover's got so much aero on that car, Mark, because it just loses a bit down the straight, but so quick through the corners.
Looks a bit that way. Richard Jenkins is an ex-low-cost racer, isn't he?
Absolutely, yes.
Race winner on occasion.
He's out in the Shepherd, the Max Shepherd race.
With the repaint, it's now yellow, isn't it?
Absolutely. Here comes Bove down the inside to get the lead into the link. So on lap 3, he takes the lead of the race away from Andrew Kemp. But can Kemp re-challenge down at Stowe? We've seen him pass him here before. The top 6 cars separated by just 3 seconds. Although Steve Boover on this lap is dropping away. Goff is now having a go at Kemp. We know Kemp's good on the brakes here. Oh, he touches the gravel though, a bit too wide, and that just put him offline very much so actually. And he may lose 3rd because Mark Glover's come down the inside of him, so that wasn't an ideal way of working that. Now Glover's going to try and pass Goff, but Goff is later on the brakes, I think, into the Vale, so he hangs on to 2nd. Glover is there in 3rd, and now Glover tries to get the tighter line, trying to get back alongside Goff here. Couldn't quite make it though. So it's at the end of 3 laps. Peter Bove that leads from Chris Goff in 2nd. 3rd is Mark Glover. 4th is Andrew Kemp, who led the lap. Then 5th is Bob Simpson. And the top 5 cars separated by just a couple of seconds. This is a great race.
Certainly is. And Peter Bove then just trying to. He's an absolute master of this class. He's won the championship several times, and he's just trying to maximise the momentum of this car everywhere. Through on the inside of Goff has come Glover. That was onto the hanger straight. They're lapping the 73, the Brazier Special, the BFS, in its Egyptian national racing colours, that sort of lilac-y hue.
Goff powers back past Glover down the straight, but Glover's going to use the aero to try and go right round the outside of him, and he does so he's back into second.
And that kind of rather put Glover off his, Goff off his stride, didn't it? In the flying saucer, the disco volante, as they call them in Italy.
So now can Mark Glover go after Peter Bove?
Split them a bit, hasn't it?
You can see how much speed he can carry through the corners to pull away from Chris Goff. So they complete the first third of the race now, with the top 5 still there pretty much together. Bove, Glover, Goff, Kemp and Simpson. And then a gap back to Steve Boover, Ian Barley and Richard Jenkins, with Daniel Welsh and Martin Kemp completing the top 10. So down into finish. Here comes Kemp to the outside of Goff, but that's not going to work. Fastest lap of the race, Peter Bove, the 1:16.7, which is actually only a few tenths away from his qualifying time. And the rest are right on their qualifying pace. So, which is interesting, but they're a couple of seconds away from David Bartholomew's lap record in the, that was the PRS, wasn't it, that dominated some of these races?
Yes, the Pither Rotherham Special as opposed to the PRS Formula Ford cars, which came from Hertfordshire.
There's Bob Simpson, number 4, 4-time champion. Most recently champion in 2003, first champion in 1978. It's been a very long time since Bob Simpson missed a race, so great to see he's out there this weekend again at Silverstone. So across the line, Peter Bove now just started to eke away, I think, from the pack. He's got a couple of seconds lead. A new fastest lap, 1:16.73, 4 tenths quicker than Glover. People to 1:17.1, a 1:17.3 for Goff, a 1:17.6 for Kemp, and a 1:18.3 for Simpson. So they are just starting to spread out now as they find their natural pace. There's 42, that is Andrew Kemp in one of the Race Kicks Falcons. 4 of them out there today. And he accelerates onto the Hangar Straight on lap 6 of this motor race. Marcus said the Fiat Fire 1108cc engines that power these cars.
First car to have one was one of the Derby, wasn't it? I think it was the ex-John Harvey car that came out right at the end of one season, a long time back.
Before I was following 750 Formula, I think.
Probably before you were born, Josh.
Through Club Corner they come. Is Mark Glover getting closer to Peter Bove on this lap? So this is the end of lap 6. A slower lap for Bove, 1:17.5. Glover does a 1:16.6, but the fastest lap goes to Chris Goff, a 1:16.31, which is a second and a half quicker than he managed in qualifying this morning. I think it's been a long time since Chris Goff set the fastest lap in a 750 Formula race.
Yeah, he's been a player for a lot of years, hasn't he? And there were times when the old Flying Saucer looked like it was going to really start winning some races on a regular basis, but there's a little scuff on the front right of that car. Little tag somewhere, a bit of tyre mark, I think, on the front of Chris Goff's car. And he pops out of the slipstream. You can see that little scuff on the front right now quite clearly. Down he comes. He's taken the place. He's taken second place away from Glover, but Glover gets a tighter line coming out of Stowe Corner, attacks back on the outside, coming down through Vale. Goff rides it out though, turns in, gets back on the power. These are very much momentum cars, not a huge amount of power, but they're good on the aero, carry good speed through the corners. This time Bove has made a bit of ground again, 1.5 seconds, only 1.6.
Of course, Goff did have to make a pass on that lap, and actually he was still in the 16s, quicker than Peter Bove. So Chris Goff, one to watch here, although he's back under pressure.
Yeah, 1.8 seconds between the top 3.
Glover looked to the outside of Goff, that didn't work. Goff wants to stay ahead here, so then he can make the most of his better straight line speed down the Hangar Straight. And he has stayed ahead of Mark Glover here onto that sequence of, well, that long straight. On the live stream, keep your comments coming in. One asking where Bill Cowley is this year, the 2017 champion. I think Bill's having a go at motorcycle racing this year, so just taking a step away from 750 Formula. I believe Bill's watching at home.
Despite the fact that Chris Goff's car, the sort of Pinky Clover car, has what appears to be quite a large nose. You can see everything's enveloped, so it does flick the air over the top of the car and makes that wing quite effective at the back of it.
Now he started to defend there, and that's going to hold them up, isn't it? Stop them chasing Peter Bove, I suspect, as they complete 8 laps into the final third of it now. You can see the gap has gone out because of the battle that is happening there for second. And Andrew Kemp's staying with them too.
Yes, Andrew Kemp's moving back more into range, isn't he?
He just did a PB, a 1:16.81, so the top 4 are all in the 16s. And in qualifying, it was only Peter Bove that managed that. Actually, Chris Goff's fastest lap is identical with Bove's qualifying best lap. Good battle further back, just heading through Abbey, I see. That's for 7th. Richard Jenkins and Ian Barley have got themselves together. But good going here, I'd suggest in this race, Marcus, from Chris Goff and Andrew Kemp. They sort of jumped forward from last season into the Bove and Glover battle.
Very much so. And down they come then. Into Stowe corner. There's the 42 car. That's Andrew Kemp in the race kit's Falcon.
And now Glover having a go at Goff. Going to the outside into the chicane, but Goff breaks later and is able therefore to hang on with what should be 3 further laps to go. Glover can take a tighter line here as they go on to the start and finish line. That Goff has held on again. Have they got closer to Bove?
Looks like it, doesn't it?
They complete
they have
9 laps.
1.5 seconds.
Fastest lap to Andrew Kemp, a 1:16.28, which is great to see. He's over a second quicker than he went in qualifying too. So I think as they're battling each other, Marcus, they're pushing each other on and going quicker than they've ever gone before. And kept down the inside of Glover. He just locked up a touch there that may have hurt his challenge, but he's dropped back now. But he was having a good go at the double reigning champion, Mark Glover. Onto the hanger straight they go. The top 4. Very much together still. Bob Simpson's dropped back in 5th. 6th with Steve Boover. 7th is Richard Jenkins, who's now pulled away from Ian Barley. Then Martin Kemp and Daniel Welch complete the 10 remaining runners.
I'm interested to see what the speed traps say in terms of the straight line speed on the hanger for these, because you'd think that the Derby out front, Peter Bove's with its needle nose and the cycle wings, would be quite significantly slower in a straight line than those with the enveloping bodies. And but he's maintaining his pace, he's staying out front, and Goff and Glover very much together. And they've, I think, you say that little lock-up that Andrew Kemp had has dropped him back just a little bit as they complete their 10th lap. 1.46, they're fractionally closer to Bove, but only a 10th or so. Yeah, Kemp has just dropped back a little bit from them.
All in the 16s, they're still lapping right on their ultimate pace. Oh, big twitch there as Andrew Kemp, I think, thought there was going to be contact with Glover, so he sort of turned out of it before turning into the corner to make sure there wasn't a touch. This is turned into a really good race between these 4 cars up front. They're on the penultimate lap of it now. The Peter Bove Derby, originally built in 1988, but I think it's had plenty of development since then. And this is the car that Robin Gearing won the championship in 2016. Beating Bill Cowley and Peter Bove, but in a different car. Into Stowe, there's 42, that's Kemp in 4th place, chasing those in front. Chris Goff, number 7, he's 2nd. Number 1, Mark Glover, he's 3rd. Glover finished 3rd in both the races at Mallory Park too.
Bove briefly tried a ADR, and that didn't work for him at all, a rear-ended car. They go, and the gap 1 to 2 is still around that 1.4 second mark, so very little difference in it.
Again, all 4 in the 1:16s. So it's the final lap now of the Raceparts 750 Formula Championship, 3rd round of the season. Another lock up there for Kemp. It's the halfway round of the 6-round championship for 2020. looking to extend his championship lead. It'll be a pretty healthy gap going into this afternoon's race. And Goff here has Glover right in the toe, trying to hang on there, because we know the Goff car through the air seems a bit better and has better top-end speed. Yes, you can see he's got away. But there's Bove, who'll be watching the battle behind. That great big rear wing on the back of it. The Derby that heads down towards Vale. I think with these two a bit closer to him once more, but they're more making sure they finish ahead of each other. Goff and Glover, and it's Goff that turns into the chicane first, but in front, Peter Bove's been caught, but just a little bit too late as they come out of club corner. And the third round of the championship is won by Bove, with Goff and Glover in tow. Less than a second separated the three of them, as the car in front has a big spinner Abbey there, out of shot, but the top three cars separated by just 0.8 of a second. Peter Bove, Chris Goff and Mark Glover, with Andrew Kemp in fourth position.
Who ended up with fastest lap?
Let's take a look. It was Andrew Kemp, 1:16.28. And the slowest of the four was Peter Bove. So pretty interesting stuff. And Boover there past Simpson at the end.
Something hanging off the rear wing of Boover's car. It looks like he's got caught up on it somewhere.
I think it's fair to say, Marcus, that race surprised us somewhat in what it delivered.
Very much so. It was an absolute cracker. The top four were really closely matched on lap times. They were very closely matched overall, and I think that Bove, who's a very wily character, managed to just throttle back a little bit on the last lap. He was quite convinced he had enough in the tank to take the victory's hat trick this season now, and that made it look even more dramatic at the finish, because it probably gave Goff and Glover a thought that maybe they had an outside whiff of catching him, but they didn't quite make it.
This is the first time we've seen the championship here for 5 years. Mark Glover then was doing 120s, so I think that's probably when he started off in that car, so he's gone 4 seconds quicker than he did then. Peter Bove was on a similar pace too. Looks like Chris Goff actually wasn't here, or Andrew Kemp, but I think they did a great job there to go with the two drivers that have been on the podium constantly over the last few seasons with Bill Cowley. So a great effort there from Goff and Kemp to get amongst them. Peter Bove unbeaten so far in 2020. Had so many years without going with a win, and this year's going very well so far. But with such a short season, Marcus, it's so important to get to the finish in all these races.
Yes, that's right. And of course, a non-finish or a breakage in the first of a double header can really hurt your title aspirations here, even in or more so in a short season.
So that concludes racing ahead of lunch. So ahead of that, let's hear from Matt Suckling with our race winners from the Raceparts 750 Formula Championship.
Down here with race winner from the 750 Formula, Peter Bove. Peter, many congratulations on the win there. You managed just to pull away, and then it came back to a very close finish there.
Yeah, I made a mistake. I made a couple of mistakes in the race, but on that second to last lap, I selected the wrong gear, and it was yeah. But yeah, other than that, it was going well. It felt good, so it's a good race.
Really good start to your season as well. Now 3 wins out of 3.
Yes, yeah, I mean that was good. The start of the race was a bit weird because Andrew Kemp made a fantastic start. So did Chris Goff, and I kind of wasn't expecting them to be barreling down the inside of me. But Andrew had a good first lap, but got a bit wild and then managed to ease past him and pull away. So.
But some really good racing between you 3, you 4 at the start.
Yes, yeah, and good and close. Everyone gave each other room, so which is what you want, really. Well, I know what you want is a great start and leave everyone behind, but obviously that didn't happen.
But you got the win. Well done, Peter.
Thank you.
There you go. Peter Bove, our winner. Let's bring in Chris Goff as well, second place in that race. Well done, Chris. Second place. You were looking for a little bit more, I'm sure.
Yeah, Pete seemed to be slowing towards the end, and I thought maybe there's a chance, but I was more worried about Mark behind me, to be honest, because he was giving me, particularly through the twiddly bit. I seem to have the legs on the straight, but through the twiddly bits, I think it's a set of new tyres he's got on. He really was pushing me hard. and it was noticeable up through the Vale, is it, up there, that I was using all the road and Mark wasn't, so he's obviously got a little bit more grip than me, but we managed to make it stick, so I'm really pleased with that.
Yeah, and you were battling, you were trying to work together at the same time to keep with Peter, weren't you?
Yeah, we all were. I mean, Peter's the lead of the pack at the moment, so actually being that close to him at the end was a real bonus.
Good stuff. What a Mark?
Chris,
sorry. Chris, go for a second. Mark's on the way.
To Mark.
Cheers, thanks very much to our second place man. Then Mark Glover here in third place. Mark, well done to you. Congratulations on the podium. How was that race with Chris and Peter up front?
Frustrating. Yeah, I was quite slow down the straight, so it may be a bit of a sitting duck, but I was really quick through the corners, which was pleasing. So I'm going to see what I need to a bit of top speed for the next race.
Yeah, that's what Chris was saying there. You were good round the corners, but not quite keeping it with it on the straights. But the slipstream must have helped.
Not really. I was still dropping back even in the slipstream, so I've got a bit of thinking to do.
Well, maybe a few changes for race number 2, and you could be right up there once again.
Yeah, or it might rain, so I'll keep my fingers crossed.
Good stuff. Well done, Mark. Congratulations on third place there. So there you go, our top 3 down here from the 750 Formula. We've got more racing to look forward to this afternoon here at Silverstone.